So without further ado, I'm bringing up our first Cam Talk. It's our version of TED Talks. They're 15 minutes long. So here's a little clock that makes everybody nervous. You saw Rudy was like, come on, I'm out of time. And some of you have gotten to know Phyllis over the years. She often graces the stage with me and does some of the facilitation. You know that if you've worked with her making a video, she has an incredible talent of really getting out of you that perfect gem that can go on film and then be representing you on YouTube. But you may not know that she is an award-winning documentary producer and a media wizard. And she has recreated her career after 25 years as a broadcaster. You may have seen her on WOR TV, ABC, Evening News, Good Morning America. And she's reinvented her career by now producing her own video work and coaching others to navigate the ever-changing world of our media. And like I said, you've seen her grace the stages here before, but please welcome her warmly till we get to hear Phyllis speak. Woo! Here she comes. You want everybody out?
Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Yeah. Well, give me all you got, don't hold it back. It's a movement. Yeah. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine.
Woo, is this as happy? I want to see you really happy.
Yeah. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. Your love is too high to bring me down. Can't nothing bring me down. I said, bring me down, can't nothing.
You're overthinking way too much.
Your love is too high.
Just because the newbies are here don't mean you have to be behaved.
Look at what our problems are. And look at what our problems are.
That's a good piece for you.
Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Because I'm happy.
It's almost over.
If you feel like a room.
Move your butts. Come on. That's where the energy is. In your butt.
Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you.
Okay, you can sit down.
If you feel like that's what you want to do. Bring me down.
Particularly positive or accurate response. Not that you were wrong, Mr. Butterworth, but I asked were there any diplomatic successes? And when we think of diplomacy, we think of treaties or new agreements. Have there been any diplomatic successes at all, Mr. Salisbury?
I don't think there have been in that sense. I think Norman is right in one sense that if you take the objectives of the Reagan administration, and one of them certainly was for the deployment of the missiles in Europe, they have achieved that objective.
Tell me the most wonderful thing you can tell me about yourself right now that you would really like this room to know about you. Stand up.
This is really unfair to ask an introvert that question. I am here. That's really amazing.
Okay. All right. Let me try that on another person. I want you to tell me the most wonderful thing. If you knew these people could change the world, and if they knew you better, it would make a difference in their lives. Can you tell them something about you?
I've used a lot of my own pain to make other people have better lives.
Say your name, Tony.
I'm Tony Mayo.
Stand up so that everyone can see you. Okay. I'm always amazed with the fact that we think not now, not this moment, not these people, but it's going to be when it's on Oprah or it's going to be when it's over there. But in every circumstance you're in, the people that you are with are the ones who can change the world. That's what brings me back to Cam. And I played all of that stuff on TV. You can put the old Cam slide back up. I played all of that because television is dead. Television is dying. The fact of the matter is, the collective digital imprint of everyone in this room surpasses anything that any single television show can do in any given moment. But we still sort of look at that context of television as the thing, the place we want to be, the place we work so hard to get recognized by. But we have, in the palm of our hands, the ability to get our word out, change the world, help other people, make an impact. We can do anything we want to do right from this group right here. That's what brings me back. So in a way, yes, Google recognized me and a bunch of other people and taught us how to expand exposure, and we're going to show you some things. But I want to find out if you understand the power of your digital imprint. Some people say to me, if I do a YouTube video, I can only get 25 people to watch it or 100 people to watch it. But there's flawed thinking in that. Because every single person that you get to watch your work can share it with someone else. When you go on, Oprah's no longer, she's smart. She's gotten into the digital environment. But when you go on a standard television show and your image is there, it disappears. It's gone. It's not used again. But when you do a video that you make with your ideas, it can live indefinitely. Who in this room is still getting benefit from a video from 8 years ago? Okay, and those were very ordinary, simple things, but they can be reused, and they can give you a community. You heard the speaker a few minutes ago talking about the power of community. So here's my theory today and why I'm giving a CAM talk. Each of you represents a universe, your own universe. You're the head of your own universe. Your digital imprint influences your universe. So ask yourself while you're sitting in your chair, do your constituents know what you think and feel? Do they know your values? Do they know your plans? Do they know your wishes? Do they know your aspirations? Do you write and nurture your community? Do you know who your inner circle is and who your outer circle is? Who's in it? Let me correct the English there. So video is just one element that you can use, but here's the thing that's got me so excited. If you were around in 1950, and some of us were, you were at the dawn of a new entity. You were at a place where there was this whole new medium was growing. You're in the identical position. You are in the identical position right now. Books, unfortunately, are going away as we know them. There'll still be treasured items. They still will have value. But information is getting sent out in fantastic new ways. And if you learn the skills that you need to know now, you can expand your universe. You can shift the whole dynamic of the world by nurturing your individual universe. I'm not talking about creating a following. I mean, I don't know how many of you in this room wanted to be Werner Erhard or wanted to be Tony Robbins. I'll confess. There was a point in my career that's what I wanted to be. But that's not necessary anymore. You need to be the leader in your own universe and grow that universe. So here's how. Can we put up Google right now? And then when I come to you with a mic next time, I want you to take that mic and give the people in this room the respect that they deserve and say something more about yourself. Okay? So we're going to put Google up. Notice I haven't said be famous. How important that is. It's not as important as it used to be. It's important that you have people who you nurture and who follow you. So who in this room has what they think is a highly visible profile and a highly visible digital footprint? Okay. So give me your name. Okay. If I could spell, that would make this easier. Last name, McAuliffe? Okay, so now I've clicked on Christopher. So how many of you saw the movie Avatar? Actually, we all have an avatar. If you think about it, even though you don't have a big blue creature that's standing out there walking around the earth, every time you use the internet, every time you send email, every time you make something, you're adding in a component of your avatar. So here's Chris. Okay. This one right here. I actually covered the obit. I was the first one on air in America talking about the unfortunate death of Christopher McAuliffe. She's an astronaut, for those of you who may not know who she is. But the point is, getting back to our point, is that everybody can find you and find out everything there is about you, and Google's going to make that easier and easier. So if you have a degree of fame and you have this creature out there, and if you're not nurturing it, things are going to get contributed to the space that you don't want there. So you need to get active and think about what you're posting on Facebook, which Laura gave us a great piece of information about. And think about nurturing your community and sending out conscious pieces of video. If you have a dream to change the world, this is the way to do it. You can write a book, but if you write a book, you need to nurture the book with controlling your avatar and its output. Now, what is Google doing? Google owns YouTube. So we're going to go to YouTube for just a moment, and I'm going to show you something. It doesn't matter about the dancing cats. I need to tell you that. It doesn't matter that 100 million people watch a dancing cat. It's irrelevant. It's how many people in your circle have heard from you. Do they hear from you weekly? Do they hear from you monthly? Okay, so I have a lot of videos on my channel, but we'll just look at this for a minute. Okay, here's Minx. I'm going to play Minx for you. Minx has a new book coming out. Now what Minx needs to do, I'll let you hear this.
What's on my mind these days? And what's on my mind are all the ways that we seem to get caught up in the stories of today, in the negative places that we go to when we listen
Her avatar is
to the not
crumbling.
so wonderful news speakers, the people who tell us what's going on in a way that makes us feel dreary and without hope. And so I've been thinking about that a lot. And out of that, there's a quote by Anne Frank who said that, isn't it wonderful that nobody has to wait a single moment to change the world? In that spirit, I wrote this poem. Show up. Show up, not because you should, not because you must, but because of the magnitude of love, because of the magnetic force of compassion.
I'm going to pause it here.
Show up.
All right. So the point is, here's the point. I couldn't have done this 5 years ago. Any one of you who has a video could be pulled up into a conference like this. This video can be sent to anyone in the world. Even if you were on Ellen's show at 4 o'clock in New York or Los Angeles, unless you really consciously recorded it, you could not then send it to any friend of yours. this can live indefinitely and be powerful for her book and for herself. So I want you to get into the discipline of using your iPhones, of not just coming to me for video, but even with yourselves, recording yourselves, doing something called vlogging. You are the leaders. You are the people. Now, how do we get her numbers up? What is the way to do that? We get the numbers up on her video by posting it on Facebook, by sending it an email, by using newsletters. But also, there's something online called Google AdWords. How many of you know what a meta tag is? Okay. Google AdWords work just like meta tags. If you sign up for Google AdWords, give yourself a minimum. What Google does is if you put tags in your video, and there's a little box in YouTube, which we don't have time today, but I'm happy to show anyone who comes to the back of the room. If you put in your tag, transformation, proper diet, walking with me, is whatever tag you want, they will charge you a penny or 2 cents for whoever hits that particular tag. And they'll place your video and make it more popular. So I can show you that the numbers on this video can go way up. I don't know if I can move this. There's probably just a few people have seen it so far since I just put this up. But there's a number that shows up right over here that's that will grow on a daily basis. You can get into the thousands. But you'll get more clients and you'll get more customers by being the person who sends out the video, not just using a video as something to come to you. That's old marketing concept. New marketing concept is nurture your community. How much time do I have left? 2 minutes and 24 seconds. Let me take some questions, because I know this stuff is like, how could I do some more technology? Just what I want to do. Go ahead, Tony. Because Google owns YouTube. Any other questions? Yes. That makes sense. If you have uniquely corporate clients and you have a specific niche and a specific look, then you need to spend the money to have what you put out in the universe match that look. But if you didn't have that, and you didn't have that avatar working for you already, then I would say to you that the informal video would be just as powerful for anyone who doesn't have a branding legacy. So that there are people in this room who, if I put their name on Google, no images will show up because they're not putting themselves out. They're waiting for stuff to come in. And in fact, you will create more stuff coming in if you're putting more stuff out. Any other questions? Yeah. Yes.
I'd just like to comment on what you just said. It's actually relatively inexpensive these days to produce cinematic quality video. I'd be happy to share with you how to do it. It's under $5,000. You can buy everything you need to create video that's really as good as it could possibly be on the web.
It's actually even under 1,000. I have expert camera people that I work with, and they always complain about how come I'm carrying little cameras, but when they see the result of the shot, they're always amazed that it's the same. But I still respect your answer because you can see that you've already worked on the avatar that you've created. Doesn't mean you couldn't create a separate universe that supports your universe, though, by nurturing it with informal commentary. Okay? Anything else? All right, so let me just use my last minute.
Phyllis, about the Google AdWords, now, is that, we're seeing that listed at the top and so people know it's a sponsored ad? Because that's what I'm wondering about. Because, you know, some people are averse to clicking on something when they know it's an ad.
No, there are several categories. What's happening is Madison Avenue has decided that YouTube and other services similar to YouTube, like Vimeo, are better than traditional television advertising. So you're going to see an increasing number of things marked ads in the YouTube and Google environment. That's not what I'm speaking about. What I'm speaking about is what they do with your video to get your viewers up and your subscribers up. And they literally will take your video, and there's another service called Virul. That costs about $100 to get 1,000 real hits. They take your video and they will place it with similar content so that if If you said something similar to something that John Kerry has said, your video might be playing in the same universe as that. So they consciously put your video. That's what Google AdWords does. It's not the same thing as those things that you see ads or the strips on the videos that are playing on you. However, if you're seeing lots of videos on your ads on your video, you are being paid. You can be paid in Google. This audience may not be interested in that, but they will pay you for the fact that you're getting lots of hits if you give them the option to put advertising on your materials. And you need to be careful about that, because if you're borrowing someone else's content and you do that, you can get into a lot of trouble. But I want to leave you with the thought that that's most important to me, is that each of you start seeing yourself as the center of your universe. And just as if you were the actual new leader of the universe, think about how your external communications are operating. Do your people know how you are? Do the people know what you want, what you're up to? And do you know what your people are up to? You need to invite people to send video back to you and have a conversation with them. So when this goes up, I'll be working with Minx to understand how she can respond to all the commentary that's underneath that's showing up. Let's see if there is any at this point. Right underneath, this will be on Minx's own channel. By the way, you all get a free YouTube channel if you have a Gmail address, and Gmail addresses are free. So you make up a Gmail address, you automatically get your own YouTube channel. There's no trickery, there's no cost. So she will have her own channel, but right now she's on mine. So when the comments start coming, I will encourage her to interact with her audience that comes in, and that will also build her universe. So she's on my channel right now, so I probably am discouraging her comments. But when I put it up on her channel, it's going to be interactive. Okay, so I can leave you with this experience in my life. Norman Podhoretz was on the show, and on my talk show called Straight Talk years ago. And he came on after these two female columnists, whose name I'm always blocking on for some reason. They were twins, Ann Landers and her... So they were on, and I was horrified that they were on. But they were popular, because I was serious. I wanted to be Walter Cronkite. I didn't know any better. Oprah was smarter. She didn't want to be Walter Cronkite. Anyway, so I said to Norman Podhoretz privately, I said, doesn't it bother you that you're on the same show with Ann Landers? And he said, you know, the great movements in the world were started by a handful of people. Mass movements really don't do anything. And when he said that, my entire universe shifted. I stopped worrying about how many people viewed me, but rather who were the people I communicated to. Who was my audience? And each of you has your own audience. So use me, interact with me. I'm happy to serve you, to continue the work that we do in the world, and I couldn't find a better audience. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And what you ended with is so powerful, because so many people worry about, I don't have the big branding thing, I can't do this. It starts with your own little universe. Thank you for that reminder, Phyllis. Very cool.